today. So I'll request you all to catch up over there. And now I'll request you all to take the Mangalacharan of Mokshamar Prakashak once again. Mangalmay Mangal Karan Vitarag Vigyan Namo Tahi Jate Bhai Arhanta Di Mahan Kari Mangal Kari Hau Maha ग्रंथ करण को काज जाते मिले समाज सब पावै निज पद राज. This was the Mangalacharan of Mokshamar Prakashak. Now we'll do the third chapter Mangalacharan. I request you all to take page number 45 in the Hindi book. And English book, you can tell the page number on the chat box. सो निज भाव सदा सुखद अपनाओ करो प्रकाश जो बहुविधि दुख भव दुख निकाओ करी है सत्तानाश. I'll come to the meaning of this Mangalacharan in a while. First of all, I would like to congratulate you all for completing 3 semesters of the 5-year Paramagam course. And this semester, the portions are Mokshamar Prakashak, chapter 3 and 4. That we will do it in 1 month, 1.5 months, 6 classes. And then we will do Krambadh Paryay in another 6 classes. And then you have Anekantvad Syadvad and Apni Khoj book. And then you have 2 more books which are self-study books. One is Kal Chakra, written by Sanjeev Ji Goda, I think. And the other one is Aap Kuch Bhi Kaho, which is a sort of essays and stories. So please access these books in whatever languages you want and start reading Aap Kuch Bhi Kaho. Okay, and Mokshamar Prakashak, I hope you're thorough with the chapter 1 and 2. So I'll request you all to quickly take the index of Mokshamar Prakashak in case you have in Hindi or English. Doesn't matter. So in the first, you all know Mokshamar Prakashak, written by the legendary Pandit Todarmalji. And in the Friday class, from the Prastavna, almost 3 pages about Pandit Todarmalji and his style of writing, we discussed. Okay, so if time permits, I'll do that over here. Otherwise, I will try to skip it over here and request you all to read the foreword of the Mokshamar Prakashak book you have. Then the first chapter, there are 9 chapters in this book. The 9th one is incomplete, and so the book is incomplete. So where Jainism starts, that is the 9th chapter. But a prelude to understanding Jainism, which is assumed that you know and you believe, was there before Todarmalji's times or before 2000 years. But aate, that, what to say, that common sense was lost. Okay, and what remained was mere rituals and superstitions and blind faith and all these things. So to remove all that, he's written 8 chapters. And then he was to start the 9th chapter, the Ratnatraya, and you all know he was killed. Okay, by people who did not understand him or who did not appreciate, who were jealous, all those things. Okay, so the first chapter talks about the Mangalacharan and the Pancha Parmeshti Swarup, Vakta, Shrota, Gun, and how the reference for this books are the great texts written by the great Acharyas, and how this book is an authentic source of understanding reality, understanding the philosophy of Bhagwan Mahavir. All that is revealed in the first chapter. Then in the second chapter, he talks about Sansar Avastha. What is this world all about? So actually the world is in our minds, in our bhav, in our karma, in our kashai. So because of that, we are placed in 4 gatis. So you all know the law of attraction. So these bhav you do, you're attracted towards things. So the karmas are attracted to you. You get attracted to your pure soul. You're not attracted to material things. So karmas will not get attracted to you. Okay. So how to develop an attraction for the pure self? That is Ratnatraya. Those are the 3 jewels. So in this chapter, he discussed about the relation between Atma and Karma, since when they are there, how the soul is formless, yet the karma with form get attracted to it. and how their karmas are judged, and how when they come in contact with the conscious, they get the power to condition the soul, etc., etc. And then how the new karmic bondage takes place, what is Uday, all that we did in the second chapter. And then he says that karma bandhan is a disease. It is a disease. So what is the nimitt of it? Like how the diseases in our body is triggered by some bacteria, virus, and all those things. So he says, what is the avastha? Avastha means how this conditioning in the world is experienced by the jeev. All that was explained in the second chapter. Now in the third chapter, he's going to tell you about suffering, sansar dukha, and then moksha sukh. Now listen to me very carefully. What we consider as dukh is not the real cause of the dukh. The real cause is something else. What we consider as the cause of dukh is not the cause of dukh. It is something else. That they are going to psychologically explain in this third chapter. Okay, friends. And then in the fourth chapter, he's going to make a detailed analysis of false faith, knowledge, and conduct. And in the fifth chapter, which is not prescribed neither in this semester nor in the next semester, is refutation of different ideologies and philosophies, which includes the Advaita Brahmavadis, the Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, then Buddhism, Charvak. All these are interdisciplinary is done. Then the Shwetambar Mat. What are the limitations? What are the flaws in the Mopatti, Stanakwasi, in the Shwetambar Murti Pujak? All that is addressed in this chapter. This is not prescribed for your syllabus in 5 years. You read it on your own. Then in the sixth chapter, which you will study in the upcoming semesters, he has discussed about the nature of Kudev, Kuguru, Kudharma. Okay, only when you know that and give them up, your Grahit Mithyatva will go. Okay, and then in the seventh chapter, he is going to tell us about the Jain Mithya Drishtis. How being Jain, how much of Mithyatva we are doing, he's discussed that in the seventh chapter. So you'll be discussing, you'll be studying sixth and seventh in the next year. Okay. And then eighth chapter is the style in which the Jain Agamas are written. The Jain philosophy should be understood. The 4 Anuyogas. We have already done one small chapter related to 4 Anuyogas in our Vitrag Vigyan 1, 2, 3 and all that.
Yeah.
And then he says, okay, fine. Now that your Mithyatva is gone, now understand the nature of Moksha Marga and Samyaktva. So the 9th chapter, he is going to discuss logically and psychologically how Atma ka hit moksha hai. Okay, how nothing else can be the cause of welfare of the soul. So what Purusharth you should do, everything he starts discussing, and even that word is incomplete. The 9th chapter, that sentence is incomplete. When the king's people, attenders, they come and take him away and go, and they get him trampled under the elephant. Okay, friends. So that's how this chapter is. The 8 chapters are prelude to the 9th chapter. So it is really Moksha Marga ke upar prakash dalne wala, illuminator of the pathway of moksha. Okay, so this is a quick recap of what we have done and what we are to do as far as this book is concerned. And the next second paper will be Kram Baddha Paryay, written by Dr. Hukamchandji Bharil. And there are 2 parts to that book. One is the discussion and one is the question and answers. So 2 parts mein we are going to read that book. And Anekantvad, Syadvad, Apni Khoj, we will do it in the 4th month or so, 4th, 5th month. Clear, friends? So I've given you the part for the next 5 months. Okay, now take the 3rd chapter, all of you. So I'll give you the meaning of the Mangalacharan first. So nij bhav sada sukhad, apnau karo prakash. See, Atma is Gyan Swarup, and that Gyan is Swa par Prakashak. Write down if you want. Atma is Jnana Swarup, and that Jnana is Swa Par Prakashak. When you know something, you also know that you are knowing that thing. So your knowledge is also illumined, and the object that comes in your knowledge is also illumined. That is the nature of Gyan. Swa Par Prakashak. It illumines the self, and it has the capacity to illumine the whole universe, living and non-living, Dravya Gun Paryay, simultaneously in one unit of time. That is the power of one Paryay of Gyan. What is the power of one Paryay of Gyan? The Atma is also known, and in that Atma, the whole universe, which comprises of the past, present, future, of all the Dravyas, along with its Paryay, simultaneously, they can be cognized in one shot, in one Paryay of Gyan. But now our Gyan, we know only little things. What is there in our house? What is there in our office? What is there in our life? If I were to tell you that see the whole movie in one shot, you cannot. See all the movies of the world in one shot. So just imagine that Keval Gyan is a supercomputer in which the movie of all the living and non-living, of their past, present, future, is reflected simultaneously. So he's telling that how did they get that Keval Gyan? By meditating on the Gyan Swabhav. By meditating on the Nij Bhav. By being with the Nij, they became Jina. Nij may say you change the matras. Ni, ja. That take that E ki matra and put it on Ji, you become Jina. Because we are not interested in Nija, what happened? We did not know ourselves. Apnau karo prakash. Apna prakash nahi hua. Who am I? We did not know. Okay, we know that I'm Priya, I'm Saurabh, I'm Shobha, but that is not our true identity. That is only related to this birth. But what you were in the past, what you will be in the future. If you are not that now, then what you are now, you are actually not that now. Okay. So what you are eternally there, only that is your real identity. This is your momentary identity, which is not your identity. You got it because of the karmic association. Okay, what according to karma is happening, you consider it is yours. That is the mithyatva that we have to break. Okay, so he says, Nij bhav sada sukhad. That Nij bhav no should give anand, should be the cause of our happiness. Okay, so jo bahuvidhi bhava dukha nikau. So what are the causes of bhava dukha? Karihai satta nash. Know the Nij bhav, and from the root, uproot the mithyatva. Only when you know the Nij bhav, the uprooting of the root cause of suffering will happen. That is the meaning of the Mangalachara. Okay. Now, I've already told you earlier that when a person is deceased, he's suffering from some pain or some issues, what does he do? He doesn't sit quietly. He goes to the specialist, he goes to the doctors, and then what do the doctors do? They diagnose and they tell him the root cause of the disease. In allopathy, they will not tell you the root cause of the disease. But if you come to Ayurveda, if you come to nature cure, they will tell you that the root cause is the imbalance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vayu, bile, and the Kapha. Imbalance in these three, less or more, is the cause of disease, any disease for that matter. And you heal the Vat, Pitta, Kapha. You balance the Vat, Pitta, Kapha. Your diseases can get balanced. I mean, your body, you can become fit. Okay, so he says that the deceased person is suffering because of the disease, because he does not know the root cause of the disease. He's only trying to heal the symptoms. Like for example, when you get fever, the body has raised the temperature to detox the germs or to kill the germs in the body. But we are very smart people. We don't understand that. We take medicine and we curb the fire. Oh, fire, you be quiet. We try to quieten that fire. Quieten means heal the fever. But that fever is a symptom which is telling you that your body is filled with toxins, and the body raises the temperature when there is movement of the morbid matter in the body. So that time what you should do? You should do complete fasting. Or you should be on a fruit diet or a juice diet and give the maximum time for itself. But we interfere with nature, we take medicines, and then we go from bad to worse. Okay, so you know the meaning of pethy, allopathy, homeopathy. Pethy means not more than 3 days. That fever will not be there for 3 days. After that, it will go. It's a pethy, it is healing itself. So if you want to take medicines, you should not take for more than 3 days. But these days, you see people taking medicines lifelong, whether it is allopathy or homeopathy or Ayurvedic. BP ki dawai roj khana, sugar ki dawai roj khana. So your body is not made of medicines. Likewise, your Atma is not made of kashai and karma. So just as when you are deceased, you go to a Vaidya who is a specialist and he tells you the root cause of the disease. Okay. If you don't go to a specialist, you will try to take self-treatment, which may harm you more. Right? कोई उपाय करता है, but दुख सहा भी नहीं जाता. You're not able to bear the pain also. And at the same time, you're not getting the right remedy also. So your dukh is not going, your suffering is not going, your pain is not going, you remain in agony. And then here he says, when you meet a Vaidya, okay, he will tell you the root cause, he will tell you the nature of the suffering, and he will tell you that what treatment you are doing is not right. Your upay is jhuta. And then he gives you the sacha upay, the right treatment. And you should have interest in that treatment. Mere doctor telling you and you don't take interest in it, you buy the medicines and keep it, and you don't take it, even if it is a bitter pill, you don't take it, no Vaidya can help you. Now this is the Drishtant. Now comes the actual thing. He says, the Sansari Jiva are suffering in this world, but they don't know the root cause of the suffering. And they don't know the way out of suffering. And they are not able to bear the pain and the mental conflicts. And whatever he feels like doing, he does. Mandir jao to mandir jata hai, do puja to he does puja, do yatra, do go to this Devi Devta. All upay he is trying to do to get rid of suffering. But the suffering never ceases. And then he is not able to bear the suffering. So for such people, the Acharya, Pandit Kalp, Acharya Kalp, he is not an Acharya in the traditional sense. He was like an Acharya. Because of his contribution and his insight and his leadership qualities, he is called as Acharya Kalp. So he says that for such people, I am going to reveal the root cause of suffering. And I will tell you the nature of suffering. Then how the treatment that you are doing is false. And I'm going to give you the right ways to heal your soul. So like a therapist, he gives this chapter and this text. So he's like a psychologist trying to heal the, the conditioned souls who are searching for a way out of suffering. Who are searching. First, you have to have the search. You have to have the jigyasa to come out of suffering. Only for such people, Jinvani is of use. Okay. So now he says that how many kinds of suffering are there in this world? There is actually only one suffering, one cause of suffering, and that is perversion. Call it ignorance, call it delusion. Perversion is mithyatva. Agyan is not having the right understanding, that is again mithya gyan. And perverse conduct, mithya charita. So wrong understanding, wrong knowledge, wrong conduct. So This is the context in which we have to study this chapter. Okay, friends. Now, this chapter we have to study under 4 heads. If you want, you can note down. The first head is Sansar Dukh. 2 broad headings. Sansar Dukh, Moksha Sukh. Under Sansar Dukh, he's given 3 headings. The first one is understanding the suffering from the karma angle point of view. Karma ki apeksha se. That is from page number 46 up to page number 62. Almost 16 pages in the Hindi book. Okay. Now, second part of the first part is Paryay ki apeksha se. From the Paryay point of view, understanding the sufferings of the world. And the third one is general nature of suffering. That we are going to do today. General nature of suffering on page number 70 that we are going to discuss now. And then this is the first part. Now, the second part is Moksha Sukh. And what is the way to realize the Moksha Sukh? That is the second part of this essay, of this chapter. And this chapter ends on page number 75. So we have to do 45, 55, 30 pages. Let us say in 3 or 4 classes. Is it clear, friends? So I will not be able to read every line and explain. Yes, you want something? So you have to read and come with your questions and doubts. Madam, what is the meaning of this line? Pani de dena gud ka. Okay. Sunday, no, is commotion day at home. Please. Sorry. Okay, friends. So now this is the backdrop in which we have to understand the lesson. Understood, friends? So now from the karma angle point of view, we will do it a little later. So each and every karma and suffering, we are going to relate karma and suffering. It will be very interesting. Which is the root karma because of which we are suffering, and what we consider which karma we are suffering. They are totally diagonally opposite. See here, because of the Vedaniya karma, we have some disease in the body. Okay. Now, supposing you've got a headache or a tumor or anything in the body, we suffer. We suffer the pain. But Bhagwan says that pain is not the cause of suffering. We consider that pain as the cause of suffering. Okay. But Bhagwan in this chapter, Bhagwan means what Mahavir has told, Todarmalji has revealed it. So we refer to Bhagwan. It's in the revelations of Bhagwan only. He is repeatedly told in a very simple language. So Bhagwan says that Vedaniya karma is not the cause of suffering. We consider that Vedaniya karma as the cause of suffering. Sorry. Then when you deeply analyze these karmas, when you go deeper, you will see that, oh, Vedaniya karma is not the cause of suffering, then Mohaniya karma is the cause of suffering. Your moha is the cause of suffering. Okay. Then when you go further, you will understand that it is not the Mohaniya karma which is the cause of suffering. It is your desire, Ichha, Trishna, Vancha. That is the root of suffering. Then when you go deeper, you will understand that the desire also is not the root of cause of suffering. The root cause of suffering is disinterest in your pure soul. Okay, not having the knowledge of the pure soul, not having the realization of the pure soul, not being interested in the pure soul is the cause of all suffering. Okay, so what is this desire? Why does this desire spring? So what is the nature, what is the samanya swarup of suffering? That we will see first, and then we will analyze from karma angle and all that. Okay, so please all of you take to page number 70 in the Hindi book. If you can tell the English page number.
45, ma'am.
45?
In
85.
English, at least the PDF printout is 45.
Oh, it cannot be 45. It should be more than that. Chapter 3, around page number 25, 5th of chapter 3.
Chapter 3, in the PDF 63 page number.
What is the heading?
Exposition of miseries of mundane existence and bliss of liberation.
Okay, they have clubbed the bliss of liberation. Okay, yeah, that is it. Exposition of mundane suffering.
Mundane.
Okay, now in this, now first of all, let us understand what is dukh. He says the lakshana, characteristic of suffering is akulta, anxiety. Anxiety, akulta. So this is dukh ka lakshan. So what is sukh ka lakshan? Nirakulta. Akulta is anxiety. Nirakulta is not lack of anxiety, where anxiety is not there. Anxiety less state. This is not correct English, anxiety less. So he says that there are 4 kinds of this akulta, no? Akulta, this anxiety is there because of 4 kinds of desires. 4 kinds of desires. 4 prakar ki ichhaएं. Okay. So now he says the first ichha that is there in all mundane jeev, all sansari jeev, 1 sense to 5 sense, human beings, devta, everybody have this desire. What? Vishay grahan ki ichha. To enjoy the 5 sense pleasures, to access the 5 sense pleasures. Our senses are opening to the outside. Ears open to the outside world, eyes open outside, nose outside, mouth outside, and the touch is there. So all these 5 indriya, no? Indriya, they are jada. Okay. And the soul is there. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, we have a beautiful analogy. It says, write down if you want. The body is the chariot. Write down, body, chariot. The 5 senses are the 5 horses. Horses, 5 senses. In under chariot, put horses. Right side, put 5 senses. Then you have the reins, no, by which the horses are yoked to the
Controlled.
chariot. That reins, Sayyam. Not having it in your hands is asayam. And the person who is holding on to them is the mind. Is the mind. Which is driven by the intellect, buddhi. Which is driven by the intellect, buddhi. And the person sitting inside is the pure soul. The person sitting inside is the Atma or the consciousness, which is unaware of what that person is doing. It is unaware. It is in a state of perversion, ignorance. Okay, that person, no, he's given the reins in the hand of a dushta sarathi, dushta charioteer, who gets carried away by the 5 senses. Now, what these 5 horses, no, they are very aggressive by nature. They're all fickle-minded. They're never steady. And each one wants his vishay. So all the 5 are running in 5 directions. So if that man is not having the control over the 5 horses and he gets carried away by them, he'll go and fall. He won't be able to reach his destination. So what is yatra? First, fix your destination. Give the hands in the smart mind. And you don't be sleeping inside. Let the buddhi be under your control. You don't be overpowered by the arrogant and ignorant buddhi. When we pray to God, we say, no, sabko sanmati de Bhagwan. Sanmati means good buddhi, right buddhi, which is compassionate, enlightened, spiritual, and non-violent. That is Sad Buddhi. And where all these four are not there, that buddhi is Durbuddhi, Dushta Buddhi, which goes behind the mind and the five senses, and who suffers ultimately? It is the traveler. So the traveler has to be smart to give the reins in the hands of a buddhi that is awakened, that is alert, that is wise, that is focused, etc., etc. Okay, so you understood this analogy? The 5 horses, they all want their sense objects. Now you tell me from morning to evening how we live a life propelled by these temptations. What all do we do? Tell me quickly, tell me, give me some examples. What is a life full of temptations like?
We want to eat tasty food.
Hmm.
We want to eat all the time, whether we are hungry or not. And we want to see television. And when we see a nice dress, we want to buy it.
Then,
And great cars, we see, oh, I wish I could have that. That kind of temptations.
then mobile.
Mobiles.
And 24/7 doing swadhyay. And not meditating, not detaching from swadhyay and puja, bhakti, daya, dan also is indriya vishay. You understand? See, when you go to a party, you dance, you clap, you sing, you rejoice. And when you come to the temple also, you do all these things. You dance, you clap, you rejoice. But there it is Ashubh, here it is Shubh. Both are indriya vishay.
Oh.
Both are indriya vishay. But we consider Ashubh as indriya vishay and we leave it. But we get stuck up with the Shubh indriya vishay. You understand, dear friends?
Yes, ma'am.
What, Malar madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Very good.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
so you are very fond of looking at the Samavasharan. You are very fond of looking at Bhagwan. You want different color images of Bhagwan. Without knowing what actually Bhagwan is, you are stuck up with the Varna Gandh and all Varna Sparsh and all of the idols and all these things. So that also is Indriya Vishay. Okay. So what all desires we have according to Todarmalji? Varna dekhne ki, the desire to see. Supposing you go to somebody's house and lot of lightning is there inside. You are sitting in the hall and in the room, some music, loud music, party is going on. So will you not be curious to know who is there, what, why that party? That curiosity is there, no? To see, to know. Then to listen to rag, katha, and to know the unknown. Adi desires are always there in all the jivas. He says, there is no other suffering here, but the desire to know and to see causes tremendous anxiety in the soul. And that is the suffering of Vishaya. Desire to enjoy the 5 sense pleasures, to know what they are all about. That desire is the first kind of desire. Understood, friends? Shall I go to the second one?
So curiosity is a desire.
See, a child has curiosity. A child that is newborn matlab 6, 7, 8, 10 months child, it will be curious to know what is in the cupboard, who has come, who is gone. It will be very curious. But why the child is having the curiosity? Because in his past life, he had all the desires which were unfulfilled. They're all lying buried in his subconscious mind. And from that subconscious mind, the child intuitively, instinctively, he's conducting himself. One curiosity, you have to know your pure soul. That is also the supreme kind of curiosity which you're having, the ultimate, and which will eventually make you free of all curiosity. That curiosity is there means it's okay. Other than that, any curiosity related to mundane affairs is never ending. Is never ending. You fulfill one curiosity, another curiosity will come up. You fulfill one desire, another 4 desires will pop up. Like that, life goes on. But never to date, we have experienced a moment of desirelessness. And I'll tell you, friends, write down if you want. Desirelessness is bliss of moksha. Moksha is a state of desirelessness, which you live in the mundane world and perfect it in the mundane world. Only then you rise to the spiritual world of moksha. So curiosity can be of many degrees and many varieties, but the root cause of all curiosity is desire. And until and unless you know your pure soul, you will not experience a desireless state. You meditate and see. Why are you eating? Desire. Why are you talking? Desire. Why are you traveling? Desire. Why are you studying? Desire. Why do you go for yatra? Some desire. But have we ever fixed our goal as desirelessness and moved towards it and realized it? Okay, so let me finish these 4 kinds of suffering. Then the picture will be clear. Okay, then the second he says, desire, which is propelled by kashai. The second kind of desire, you can name it as kashai. Because of this kashai bhav, you get this desire. For example, being a sadist, you want to cause suffering to others. You want to suppress somebody else. You want to abuse somebody else. You want to demean somebody else. You have the desire to hurt, kill, harm, abuse, insult, injure somebody. So here there is no, see, when you're having the desire to hurt somebody, you are not going through any physical pain, but you are going through mental anxiety. Understand? Until and unless, see, when a child wants a toy and he does not get it, until then it will be restless. It will be crying, it will be asking for it, it will be adamant. Why? Desire. This desire is there in all the living beings. For example, if you have observed some creatures, some insects, they know that going there is harmful for them, but yet the temptation will take them over there. And that is why in the biblical prayer, they say, no, yield me from temptations. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And in that one line comes, yield us from temptations. See that we don't fall in the trap of temptations. Okay, so understood the second kind of suffering? One is the desire for sense pleasures. The second is propelled by passions. Then he says the third desire is papka uday. Uday means fruition of inauspicious karmas. See, because of the papka uday, you all understand pap uday, papoday, Malar madam?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
When there is, see, okay, I'll request you all to take 2 hands. Keep this as karma, keep this as bhav. Okay, this hand represents karma, this hand represents bhav. Now, in the dravya karma, there is some karmic uday. Some how earthquake takes place on the earth. Like that, there is a bhukamp in the Atma Pradeshas. And the karmic rise takes place. So when the karmic rise takes place, there is a corresponding rise of bhav in the Atma, which we call it as Audayik bhav. Okay? Right? Now the Asata Vedaniya karma uday. Asata Vedaniya means pain producing karma uday happened. And you got the corresponding bhav that I am suffering. So this is called uday. This pain has come. That is udaya. Udaya means fruition. Udaya means fruition. Now, you are not, now again take this finger, take this hand. Put 5 fingers over here. 5 fingers, name them. Come on, all of you name them. This is Opshamik Bhav. This is Kshayopshamik Bhav. Shaik Bhav. Audaik Bhav. Paramparinamik Bhav. This is the Paramparinamik Bhav, means this is the soul consciousness, soul science. This is the real self. But this real self is not interested in itself. It is unaware of itself. It is sleeping. Okay. We are doing Mokshmarg Prakashak, chapter 3, page number 70, desire number 3 of Hindi book. Sonal.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, the soul is unaware of the Paramparinamic Bhav. So, every moment karma uday is happening and the Jeev is having the Audaik Bhav. And the Jeev gets carried away by the Audaik Bhav. So, when it gets carried away by the Audaik Bhav, that is Moha Raga Dvesha. First, previously bound Moha Raga Dvesha gave birth to the Uday. Bhav Karma. Bhav Karma here, Dravya Karma here. So when the Dravya Karma rose, the Bhav Karma also, like the snake, you know, that food of the snake, ever ready. Like that, the Bhav Karma was ready. Now the soul, no, this Paramparinamic Bhav is not realized. It is not awakened. It is not worshipped. It is not, iski sharan nahi liye humne. So you get carried away by the Audaik Bhav. So that time what happened? Mohaniya karma cycle goes on. But now listen to me now. Now the karma rise happens in the karmas, Dravya Karma, and corresponding uday has happened in the Bhav Karma. Now this Jiva is awakened Jiva. Realize, Samyak Drishti hai. He knows that he is Paramparinamik Bhav. And this is mere Audaik Bhav. And he doesn't get carried away by it. He doesn't get carried away by it. That time what happens? Listen, Karma ka upsham happens. Here, Karma ka upsham happens here. Upshamik Bhav happens here. Looking at the Paramparinamik Bhav, ignoring, bypassing the Audaik Bhav, you did not attend to it. What happened was upsham of the Mohaniya Karma. This state is called Samaik. This state, this spiritual practice, observation, absorption is called a Samaik. Continuous Samaik. Samaik means absorption in the Paramparinamic Bhav will lead to Kshayopshamik Bhav. Kshaya of some prakritis of Mohaniya Karma and Upsham of some prakritis of Mohaniya Karma. Kshayopsham. Continuously you look at the Paramparinamic Bhav, Mohaniya Karma ka Kshay happens. 7 prakritis ka Kshay happens. So what Samyaktva you will get? Kshaik Samyaktva. Today in this Pancham Kal, Kshaik Samyaktva is not possible. But this will not come in one shot. Previous life, Upsham, Kshayopsham continuously will lead to Kshaika. Now Bharat Chakravarti has got the Kshaik Bhav. All Tirthankas when they are born, no, all Tirthankas are not born Tirthankas to be Jivas when they are born with the Kshaik Bhav. Yet Bharat Chakravarti tours the Bharat Khanda for 60,000 years. Even though Rishabdev Bhagwan is there preaching, he gives up the listening to the Divya Dhvani and he's on an expedition for 60,000 years. Why? Because he is bound the Chakravarti Namakarma. According to that Namakarma, he has to fight so many battles and warfares and everything. But he knows the Paramparinamik Bhava. He's got the Kshaik Samyak Darshan. So for him, Anantanu Bandi Kashai is not bound. On the other hand, a Muniraj is there. He's not realized the Paramparinamik Bhava. He's only trying to do the Upsham of Monya Karma by not attending to the Audaik Bhava. But his focus is not the Paramparinamik Bhava. Even though he is not killing an ant, he is finding Anantanubandhi Kashai. Even though he is not getting angry with anybody. He is having plenty of anger towards his own pure soul just by not realizing it. So Kashai means just not that the anger that we do to others, etc., etc. Okay, the Paap ka Uday is, this is Paap ka Uday, that you are not able to understand the pure soul. This is Mithyatva Naam ke Paap ka Uday. And that Uday will always be there. When will it go? When your Mohaniya karma is little upsham. Now see, you and I, we are not interested in going to the mall. We are not interested in the worldly things. We are interested in this thing. So when this is possible, when our Mohaniya karma is subsided to a great extent. And then you discover this pure soul, you realize it, you know it as it is, you absorb in it. Then you get the Opshamik Samyaktva or Kshaupshamik Samyaktva or Kshaik Samyaktva. Not understanding this Paramparinamik Bhav is the root cause of Vishay, Kashai and Papka Uday. Mithyatva Naam ke Papka Uday. Okay, so not uprooting the root cause and considering the headache as suffering, backache as suffering, cancer as suffering. No. So even Tirthankars, to be Jivas experience Upsarg and Parisha, they give up all favorable situations and go in a unfavorable situation and embrace all kind of difficult situations only to check if they can practice Veda Vigyan and get rid of these desires caused by the inauspicious karmas, that is Papka Uday. Understood? We get little headache and we feel as if the world is come down. But that moment you focus on your Paramparinamik Bhav. Focus deeply on the Paramparinamik Bhav. Look at the headache with Gyata Drishta Bhav. Your headache will be diluted. Wherever the pain is there, take all your focus and try to be in the Gyata Drishta Bhav. Wahan ka karma or wahan ka pain will get diluted. This is a therapy. Without medicines, non-violent therapies. Jainism is basically a therapy to heal the soul without any medicines, etc. Okay, so understood, we consider disease, hunger, pain as suffering, but Bhagwan says, no, your desire to get rid of them is the cause of suffering. And when that desire will go, when you realize that you are a knower and seer and not a doer. Understood, friends? Understood?
Repeat, madam.
Now,
Repeat, madam. Repeat it. We consider disease, hunger.
We consider disease as suffering.
Yes, ma'am.
But that disease is not the cause of suffering. The desire to get rid of the disease is suffering.
Okay.
And how that desire will go when you focus on the pure soul.
Pure soul. Okay.
So any desire come, go and see. The desire is the nana.
Okay.
This is desire, or this is the consciousness. That you, the person who is aware is I am not this desire. Disown it and it will go. Understood? So first cause of desire is, first kind of desire is propelled by the desire. I mean, it is the desire for enjoyment of sense. The second one is passions. Now Now, these three are not so dangerous, you know. The fourth one is the most dangerous. But the whole world, nobody understands the fourth one as suffering. This is something really unique about Pandit Todarmalji's presentation of suffering and desires. He says, now let us see. There is one desire to get rid of the first three kinds of desires. You understand? First, you got the Indriya Vishaya desire. So your Punya karma is there. So you have the desire to fulfill your curiosity to enjoy the sense pleasures. Punya ke uday mein hoti hai. And according to the Punya uday, you want to conduct yourself. For example, because of your Punya, you got a lottery ticket. You got a lottery of 1 crore rupees. Punya ke uday se. Now what desire you will have? Either to go for a Europe tour, globe tour. Desire, no? And what is that? Vishay Bhog ki ichha. To control the world. Kashai ki ichha. You know, the so-called rich military in the world. People like, I think, George or what, I don't know. So I'm not personally talking about anybody. There are people who think that if finish half of the planet, the other half will live comfortably. So they are on a spree to check the population and finish most of them by dangerous medicines. Pharmaceutical industry is big business today, not in curing, but in causing diseases. They want you to be infected by corona so that they can make vaccines and they can make money out of your disease. So this is just the beginning of a very big box that will open up in coming. So coming back, so Punya ke uday se, now those people who are the leaders in the pharmaceutical industry, because of the Punya ke uday, they got the knowledge of science, technology, laboratories, and everything. What are they doing with that? What are they doing with that?
They are supplying.
They're causing suffering. So this is called Papanubandhi Punya. Their Punya ka uday, but it is leading more Pap ka bandh. Okay, so like a multi-hooded serpent. Okay, so out of the first three, luckily you got headache. When will that headache go? When your Sata Vedaniya karma is there, when the Punya Uday is there. Mere desire to get rid of headache will not help you to get rid of headache. Your Punya must also be there to experience the Sata. Only then you will get the Sata. Until then, that Asata means pain will remain. Now, you have the desire to enjoy the sense pleasures. So without Punya, will you get access to the sense objects? No.
No.
Right? So everywhere, Punya Uday is there means you will get it. But all the desires can be fulfilled in one go. Anybody who will have all the kind of Punya at any given time? No. Nobody can get all the Punya in the world. Nobody can get everything of everything in this world. Even the Tirthankas can't. Okay. So, you desire something, but you get something else. By the time you fulfill that desire, another desire pops up. Okay. So, so sometimes you have the desire to see. Now that you're seeing, you have the desire to eat. Now you have the desire to something to eat. Now you have the desire to play. Supposing you go for a movie, you want to see. Now that seeing is happening. Now the second desire to go and buy a popcorn will happen. Now we have finished the popcorn. Now the desire to drink something will come. So one desire goes, and again desire to see the movie. Then again there's desires for something. Like that, life goes on. But that is not the real life. Okay. So sometimes we give up rag of listening, we nurture the rag of smelling, we give up the rag of smelling, we nurture the rag of seeing. We are actually nurturing rag. Okay. You sometimes you have the desire to see one person, sometimes you have the desire to see another person. Like that, punya ka uday goes on. Now come to the next page. So the world thinks that fulfilling the desires is happiness. The
Ma'am,
world.
one question before we move on. You said there are 4 desires. The first one, of course, and the second one, you said the desire propelled by Kashai. That and the fourth one is passions. So they are 2 different desires.
Fourth one is the desire propelled in the context of rise of punya karmas. Punya uday. Fourth desire you get when the punya uday is prabal. See, because of punya, you got a very, like for example, our president, Draupadi Murmu. Because of punya, she's got access to the president's house. Now, will she not have the desire to enjoy the president's post? And she comes from a Brahma Kumari's school. School matlab orientation. She has her, see, and the word she used, Johar, is a Prakrit word for Namaskar. The Jharkhand Adivasi, no, whichever state she belongs to, Prakrit. And she's a very simple lady. So she is now uska punya ka udaya. Now, is it important for her to nurture all the desires? No, not at all important. But if the person does not have an orientation in meditation and simplicity and spirituality, he'll end up nurturing all kinds of desires. No, he'll call his family, he'll call his people in the village and ask them to be there, and he'll favor all favoritism, everything will go on. You understand desire propelled by punya ka uday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So now note down
Which is the
point.
second one, second desire.
First Vishay, second Kashai, third Pap ka uday, fourth Punya uday. In Punya ka uday, you want to do something. You want to do something. That is desire. In Pap ka uday, you want something. In Kashai ka uday, you want something. And looking at Vishay, you want something. See, 2 people get married. Before they got married, they wanted to see each other. They wanted to be with each other. Okay, now they got married. Now they should sit in one place and be looking at each other. No? Why do they go on honeymoon and look at nature? Okay, they are done with looking at each other. No happiness. Chalo, abhi wahan jaake happiness dhoonge. So they go for honeymoon. Okay, honeymoon pe gaye, nature ko dekh liya. Wahan pe sukh nahi mila. Chalo, abhi 1-2 bacche paida karke wahan sukh mile. वहां भी सुख नहीं मिला, तो अब चलो बच्चों की शादी करके सुख मिलेगा, पोता पोती करके सुख मिलेगा. है नहीं सुख वहां पे, भ्रम है, भ्रम, इल्यूशन. पुरीदामा, Malar madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here write down points. I'm going to give you 4 points here. Page number 71. First of all, that nobody can have the punya by which all the desires are fulfilled. Okay. Nobody can have the punya by which all the kinds of desires can be fulfilled. First point. Second point, you cannot have access to all the means all the time. When you're looking at something, you're not enjoying the smell. When you're enjoying the smell, you cannot enjoy the seeing. बदल बदल के enjoyment होता है. Okay, so nobody can get access to all the pleasures all the time simultaneously. You can't get. So by the time you fulfill one, there will be anxiety related to the other sense of them, other sense pleasure. You have not had enough of one sense pleasure. It is replaced by another sense pleasure. So by the time you fulfill the second one, the desire for the first one becomes more deeper. So that is the cause, that is the state of suffering only. Even when you're enjoying the pleasures, okay, for example, I give a plate of beautiful dish to somebody. He loves it. He wants to eat the whole thing, but he eats one. Okay. And then I give him another plate of another interesting dish of his choice. And he starts eating that, and I take away the first one. I take away the first one from him. Now, that person is enjoying the second dish, but is he not longing for the first dish also? That longing, that desire is there or not? So even though he is enjoying the second dish, the desire to enjoy the first dish is already there. So he's actually suffering because of the disease. You understand? But he considers that momentary satisfaction of the sense pleasures as happiness, which is an illusion. So this is the nature of sansar dukh. All creatures are propelled or living a life of temptations. Even though they are enjoying the momentary sense pleasures, they are propelled by all kinds of desires. Propelled matlab, they are all, what to say, experiencing all kinds of desires. So actually they are in a state of suffering. You get access to the sense pleasures or not is not the cause of your suffering or happiness. You having the desires is suffering. You not having the desires is happiness. But we associate happiness with access to desires, enjoying the access to the sense pleasures, enjoying the sense pleasures, etc. Had there been happiness in the sense pleasures, why the Tirthankars would have shown their back to them? Why? Why all the Tirthankars showed their back to all the sense pleasures? Because they knew at the root that there is no, it causes more anxiety only. So they gave it up. And after giving it up, see, when did they give it up? By knowing that there is no happiness. And at the same time, knowing that happiness is in my pure soul. Just they realize that. But you have to go and experience that every moment through samaik, through sadhana, through diksha, through dhyan, through kayotsarg. Then you get absorbed in it. That state is moksha. That is sansar. That is moksha, sukh. Okay, second point. Now, third point. So, if one sense pleasure is not fulfilled, there is anxiety. And when that sense pleasure is fulfilled, you have another kind of desire. So likewise, desires, the form keeps changing. That is the third point. Not, last fourth point. Not for a single moment, the jiva has experienced desirelessness. So now these first three kinds of, that's all, 4 points. Now the conclusion, the first three kinds of desires you had, no? You do something or the other to get rid of them. Like you have got a headache and you go to the pharmacy and you buy some self-medication. Right? So likewise,
Ma'am, ma'am, the third one, ma'am, sorry, ma'am.
See, the third one is you try to fulfill one, and until you fulfill it, you have that anxiety.
Okay.
And you do something to fulfill the first one. So you will have that anxiety to fulfill that first one, no? Likewise, the next moment, another anxiety. The third moment, another kind of anxiety.
Okay, ma'am.
Like that, not a single moment we have experienced desirelessness.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
without understanding the pure soul, without taking refuge in it, nobody can experience desirelessness. It will be either Tivra Kashai or Manda Kashai, but not a Kashai state. You nurture the Uday. See, Karma Uday is happening. You get carried away by it. It is Tivra Kashai. Karma Uday happens. You don't get carried away by it. You let go of that Uday. It is Manda Kashai. You focus on the pure soul. Then it is Akashai. Understood? Your karma
Yes, ma'am.
rise is happening every moment. Now you have taken Samaik. Whatever Uday is happening, I am not going to be bothered. So I will remain equanimous. I'll remain equanimous. I will not attend to this. That is Manda Kashai. You're not getting anger. You're not getting desire. All that is Manda Kashai. But at that time, do you light the knowledge of I am a pure soul? Do you experience a pure soul at that time? Then it is a Kashai state. Otherwise, everything is Indriya Vishay and Kashai. And that is Mithyatva Nam Ka Pap Ka Uday. At the most, you may get little punya. And with that punya, you may have again desire for worldly things. Again fall in the trap of more suffering. So like that, it goes on. See, punya no is a very, very dangerous thing if you don't know how to handle it. If you don't know how to manage it. See, with punya, you went to Devalok. But you did not have the spiritual mind over there. So you had access to all the mundane pleasures over there. And you kept enjoying them. So all your punya was spent. Now no punya stock is there. Now that Devta, no, Devalok, he's having only 6 months in hand. And that time, the garland of flowers that he is wearing starts withering away. And then in his Avdi Gyan, he knows that all his punya is gone and he's about to die. He's got no punya. When he was a human being, he did all punya activities. He went to Devalok. But in Devalok, there is no way to enjoy, to bind more punya. That is a place where you enjoy the fruit of your punya. All expenditure only over there. Human birth only, all income can be possible. He is spending all his punya. All punya gone and lot of attachment, asakti in the 5 sense pleasures. Because of that, he is born in 1 sense. So is it not a dangerous situation? See, when a jeev goes to Narak, no, he will tolerate the suffering over there and evolve and come up to the next level. From Narak, he'll come to Tiryancha or Manushya Bhav. Evolution is happening. But in Devalok state, it is devolution. So understood, people? It's 10:45. I have to close now.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So even
Thank you,
not
ma'am.
a little bit of our suffering is gone. So everything is suffering. So you being in whatever condition in the world is not suffering. Your approach to it is the cause of suffering or happiness. Your intention, your outlook, your attitude, your evolved consciousness, mind, intellect, application of the wisdom will determine whether you are actually suffering or not. Okay, friends, I would like to end with this, and I request you to read this chapter, bring questions, each one ask at least one question. 5 people should ask 5 questions at the end of the class in the next class. Okay,
Sure, ma'am.
we'll do the prayer quickly. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार. Jai Jinendra, people.
Thank you, ma'am.
Jai Jinendra.
Thank you, ma'am.